It's a dark place. At its darkest, I heave in the shadows of evil demons, cringe and cower. It's a dark place. At its darkest, I heave in the shadows of evil demons, cringe and cower. It's a place where even the reaper in creation dons a rosary and prays for his salvation. I hid behind the mask. See how this was all the spell. Oh, things that sin, but these wounds will mend their pain.
And that was Midnight Will Come by Widows. And welcome to Radio Graffiti, everybody. We are on this Sunday. What's this Sunday called? The 26th of March. And tonight we have special guest, Anthony CONA at Random Harry on Newgrounds. Welcome to the show, Anthony.
How's it going? How's it going?
Yeah, no, super glad to have you on. Really glad to have your song playing in the background too. For anybody wondering, the song Midnight Will Come by Widows, the band. Anthony is a member of that band.
Yeah, and I did like all the art for the band too.
Yeah, Anthony is a lot of things. I don't want to just call him an animator, but he's just like an artist, director, musician too. Modern day Renaissance man is what I want to say, essentially.
Thank you.
Yeah, just give a quick introduction to yourself for everybody listening right now.
Okay, so my name's Anthony CONA. Like I go by Random Hiri on like all my platforms. I have a really funny story about how I got my name.
Oh, cool. This is my first time ever hearing this.
Yeah. So, but mainly like what I do now is like I work on Hell of a Boss on YouTube right now, and like various other projects. But like that's what I'm mostly known for right now.
Yeah, Anthony does a lot of work on Hell of a Boss. He's also done work with Bill Plimpton in the past too, working on.
I loved Bill.
Yeah, and if for anybody wondering, Bill Plimpton is an independent animator who has done work for so many different projects, and has directed a lot of music. Not music video. Well, he has done like a few music videos, but he's done a lot of like independent animations, all done in Prismacolor, color pencils, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And Anthony has worked on a Simpsons couch gag with Bill Plimpton in the past.
Not even a couch gag. It wasn't a couch gag.
It wasn't a couch gag.
They were DVD menus for the season 19 DVD.
Oh wow, that's actually really cool.
So there was a brief moment where Simpsons was like taking a break from like releasing physical media, and you know how people collect like the Simpsons DVDs.
Right.
They stopped at like season 18, and then like they did like the 20th season for like the 20th anniversary. Then they just stopped, and they realized, oh, we skipped a season. So let's just like release like it. So like Matt Groening calls up like Bill Plimpton, and like he was looking for like people to like assist him on like the deadline and stuff. So I managed to like get an interview with him because like I'm such a huge fan of like Bill's work. And like I didn't care what we were gonna do. I thought we were gonna work on like his film Slide that he's working on right now. I would have been fine with that in general because how much of a fan I am of him. And like I also got my really good friend Nessie, who I went to school with, but she's in like the cartooning department.
Yeah, the school that Anthony went to is also the same school that I went to, School of Visual Arts. We graduated the same year.
We did.
Yeah.
That was a really fun year. I like to like get into like school days.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
But
your friend Nessie.
yeah, like I knew they wanted to like get a gig like before like graduation, so I'm like, hey, you're really good. Like with physical like coloring and stuff. So I'm like, I'll contact Bill to see if you can get an interview, and Nessie got hired right away. And
Really nice, yeah.
but like we had like different scheduled days. Like Nessie was like Monday and like Wednesday, and I was like Tuesday and Thursday.
Right.
So I met up with Nessie after like the first day, and I was like, how was it? I'm like, what are you working on? You're like, and she just had like this big grin. I'm like, oh, what is this? And then like I come in the next day, I'm like, what are we working on? And I just see like model sheets of The Simpsons. I was like, no fucking way.
Yeah, that's when I heard you were working on that. I think you showed a bit of that like when we were at school, in our thesis labs, and I saw like bits and pieces of your work, and I was like, whoa, this is actually like really cool. Was it?
And
yeah.
And just having like I loved The Simpsons growing up. The Simpsons was like a big part of my life growing up.
Oh, same.
And just having that be like my first gig just meant a lot to me.
Yeah, it was such a good gig because it wasn't just Simpsons, it was Bill Plimpton Simpsons.
Oh yeah,
And
I think Bill Plimpton Simpsons are the best Simpsons.
Definitely high up there. I got a bunch of friends of mine. I also have another one of my friends, Spike Monster, at Twitter, who did a couch gag. He did designs for an teenage version of like the kids from The Simpsons, like a few years in the future. And he did a couch gag. Like, you remember the couch gag where like they were partying in the living room, and then yeah,
I just think of like Meat Girl.
Yeah, Meat Girl. Yeah, no. That's also my other friend, Meat Girl. She does a bunch of Simpsons fan art, and she might be working on some Simpsons stuff in the future. I'm gonna have her on the show in the future.
That's really cool.
I'm gonna have both of them on at some point and discuss Simpsons stuff, and I'm really interested with that. But that was your Bill Plimpton adventure, and that was like your first gig. That was Simpsons, and it was just very, 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 very inspiring when, like, you know, I've heard you like doing all that stuff.
Mm-hmm. And I was doing that while doing like thesis too.
Yeah.
And like I was working on thesis nonstop.
While you were still in school, yeah, it was a lot of work back in the day.
But for some reason, like I took it like it was nothing.
Yeah. I feel like, you know, when we were younger, we just had a bunch of energy. And then, like,
oh yeah,
you know,
I was like 21.
Yeah. And the more that we work and the more that we're in the industry is just like, you know, a lot more, especially if you're freelance, because both of us are freelance animators and artists.
Mm-hmm.
The way how freelance works is just you're constantly taking on multiple projects, and you can stretch yourself pretty thin doing that.
Oh my god, that just sums up my like my year last year.
Yeah, you've been working like crazy. I've also put you on like projects too, like that. There was an NDA project that I signed you on to like do animation for, based off my boards, and I'm still waiting for that thing to like, you know, go somewhere. But it is what it is. That's the way how animation.
That was really.
But Anthony and I have been working on stuff together the past like 2 years, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And
oh yeah, I just remembered something else with
go
The Simpsons.
Yeah.
So while I was with Bill, we were wrapping up. We actually finished like pretty early. And the Disney bought out happened.
Oh, the Disney buyout happened at around the same time that.
Yeah, I was doing that.
Okay.
But it was like my last week.
All right.
So for like my last 2 work days, I worked at Disney for 2 days.
That's pretty funny. So you can technically consider yourself a Disney employee, or
I
have
guess.
worked under Disney. That can go on your resume if you really feel like it, because you're not wrong. You're not lying.
Pretty much. But like, and then like when the DVD came out, I legit went to the store, and I just saw the DVD, and I legit just like snatched it so fast, and I opened up the DVD, and you see all Bill's art, and I was like, I remember doing that, and I was like, oh, I did that. I pretty much worked on everything on that DVD.
Yeah, every single transition and shot, I assume.
Yeah, I worked on that with Bill.
How was it like working on that particular project? Were you doing traditional media?
I was.
Yeah. So how was working with the Prismacolors in animation? And how do you time everything? I'm curious about like how that worked, how that process happened.
So Bill does everything in 3s. He does a lot of moving holds.
I like that because that's how I run with my own stuff. But continue, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
for anybody wondering, on 3s, it means for every second of animation, right?
Yeah.
You would every frame of animation would hold for one. How do you divide that? 3.
Yeah, just
times
like
7.
yeah, just 3 frames.
Yeah, for 3 frames. Every image would hold for 3 frames, which would be like 7 unique drawings per second, essentially, of animation. And most animation is done either on 2s or on 1s, within the West at the very least.
1s if you're crazy.
1s if you're working on some high-end Disney movies in the 90s, like Tarzan, which was insane.
I think Tarzan has some of the best like 2D animation in Disney.
Oh, hands down. It is phenomenal, but the amount of work that went into it, especially like all the in-betweens that had to have happened, is just mind-boggling. I can't imagine doing something like that in this day and age, and it not taking like 10 years.
Especially if you're like into gesture drawing, like everything in there is just like on point because of obviously Glenn Keane and everything. I remember I have a friend who loves animation, but like he's not an animator, but like he respects it a lot. So I was like, dude, you gotta watch Tarzan with like this lens. And then he's watching it too, and he's getting like all hyped and everything. He's like, bro, what is this animation? I'm like, you never saw it like that before?
Yeah, it's. I gotta rewatch Tarzan. It's been a while. It's been like I think around like 6-7 years since I've last seen Tarzan the animated movie, and the animation is just crazy. And you have to think about it, like back in the day, people were just drawing that like traditionally on hand.
Mm-hmm.
Not to
it's
take
one
away
of the
from
few.
not to take away from digital animation, but it's just mind-boggling, the amount of work that goes into it, because like you're not just drawing, but you also have to film, like you photograph every single one of those frames, and you have to like time it together, and timing was very difficult back in the day. You had to like work with exposure sheets.
Oh yeah, I remember learning exposure sheets in my first year, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm really glad I did.
Yeah, same here. And
some people hated it, and I'm like, no, it's actually really useful to learn these.
Yeah, for anybody listening, if you don't know what an exposure sheet is, it's essentially how you map up your frames to be filmed in the camera. And it essentially dictates how the movement works and how audio, if you have audio, links up with particular images. And you have to like manually, like, it's like an Excel sheet for animation, pretty much, that you organize all your frames together, and then you go into the camera and you film everything based off of how the exposure sheet is laid out.
For anyone who works in like Flash, like just pretend it's like your little timeline.
Yeah, essentially, it's a timeline that you do by hand. And that was a separate job. That was like a unique job within the industry, like people that just run the exposure sheets.
I managed to like snatch a copy of an exposure sheet that was used on the Wild Thornberries.
That's pretty cool.
I have some like animation memorabilia that like I like collected over like from people I like worked with in the past, and like just people I befriended.
Nice. Oh yeah.
Like I have Jane's like model sheet from Daria.
That's really
I
cool.
have
Like
original
the model
like
sheet, yeah.
yeah. I have like original animation paper from a Fruit Roll-Up commercial with Ren and Stimpy and other Nicktoons.
That's very fun. Fruit roll up. It's been a while since that's been relevant, like, But yeah, Ren and Stimpy. Speaking of Ren and Stimpy, Bob Camp has been a professor for both of us.
Mm-hmm.
For anybody listening, Bob Camp is a storyboard artist, director that has worked on a lot of Nickelodeon projects and a lot of other projects outside of Nickelodeon too. He is most well known for the Ren and Stimpy show, directing most of those episodes and storyboarding a lot of those episodes. And he did a phenomenal job.
He did like I remember really studying like a lot of like the Spumco stuff like back in like middle school, because like as much as I loved animation, like I was really into it like very early on, and with like I didn't know how the internet worked as well now, but like I pretty much looked into pretty much everything like back then. I didn't know how like forums worked. I just like researched everything I found. I found a bunch of like DVDs at like FYE or like even like Blockbuster.
Right.
And I just like,
and that's how you like, get into the knowledge of everything that happened.
mhm.
But yeah, Bob Camp is a saint. He is way too overworked, honestly. If I
He
have to
is.
say, yeah.
We're still in touch.
Yeah, I still talk with Bob every now and then. I have another friend that also still talks with Bob Camp. And
That's
that's
great.
just based off of like, I lucked out. I remember my first year when I was signing up for classes in SVA, the School of Visual Arts. I was looking at like, what blocks were available, and I saw block 5, and that was the only one that had like Bob Camp in the block. Like, and I was like, why is this not like,
Why is
picked
no
out?
one talking about this?
Yeah, why isn't this block like, filled out completely already? Because it's fucking Bob Camp of all people, He is like legend in the storyboarding world. Like, you can learn storyboarding from Bob Camp of all people. And I was just like, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna sign up for that block, animation block, and I like, got that class. And I still apply every single lesson that Bob has taught me, I still use to this day.
Oh, definitely. Like it's everything he's taught me helped me out so much.
Yep. Yeah, and it's just I was blessed, honestly. I felt blessed. And you had him as a thesis advisor for your film, right?
He was the only one I felt like I could have.
Yeah.
I never had him as a teacher, but like I was like, I need to have Bob before, like, as my thesis advisor. Like I need that so bad.
And and you got to work with Bob for a whole year to direct like your own animated short, and like let people know about that, like what your first short was.
Okay, so my first short was with characters I've used in the past. I originally had like 3 ideas, and like Bob didn't want me to like stretch myself thin. One was like super like ambitious, where like I recorded a whole song, and it would be about an animated demon band fighting off like a bunch of demons while like they play their instruments. But like Bob said there was like no story involved.
Yeah, it was
And
just a
then-
bunch of action, right?
Yeah. And there was another one where the band is on trial for like being blamed for like a crime. You remember like the Satanic Panic of the 80s?
Oh yeah, I mean, I not iconic, but like infamous. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they were blamed because someone robbed a bank or something, and while they were on the scene, they just see like in the security cameras something very unnecessary. They just zoom in into someone's car he was standing by for only 2 seconds, and they see like a CD of theirs in there, and they get blamed.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. Man, just because they had the CD and the band gets banned because like whatever.
In like a tinted window car of a car he was standing next to.
Yeah, it's the 80s were a different time, and like, you know, kind of bad, like the way how people like had like, you know, panic over satanic imagery. I think it still happens nowadays, but it's not like as crazy. But again, like moving on to your final short that you went with for your thesis.
Yeah, so
Egg Day.
I had to make cuts to that. So I was like, okay, so let's get rid of the two other characters and keep 2 out of 4 of them. And they have a giant egg that they're going to use to take over the world, and it's them pretty much preparing the egg to be hatched.
Yep.
So they would just like offer him gifts, like warm him up, sacrifice demons in front of him.
Yeah, I'm playing it in the background right now for anybody that's gonna watch this on YouTube later. But like, you know, I'm just showing off like, you know, the beheadings as they're doing sacrifices, trying to get the egg ready. But yeah.
And I think I'm the only SVA thesis film that has a penis castration.
Yeah, I have it live on screen right now. YouTube is gonna like flag me for that, but like it's all good.
I have never been flagged on YouTube by it before.
Really? Okay, so that means I'm good.
Yeah. Or maybe people just don't care about it.
Yeah.
That it just got under the radar.
Yeah, that's very funny. But yeah, that was the only film that year that like had like any actual nudity, or at least like a penis like getting castrated, which was very funny.
Okay, you want a really funny fact about that penis?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, I didn't make it a full-on penis. I made it like a weird like sentient demon.
Yeah.
Like of its own, like an own sentient being.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a really high-pitched voice.
Yeah.
And he just says howdy.
Yeah, that's our Professor Marty, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
I told, hey, Marty, can you say howdy? You're gonna play a penis.
Yeah. You let him know that he was gonna play penis.
Yes.
That's very funny. I'm glad that he like signed off on that. Anyways, Marty's also a very good guy. Our Professor Marty. This is just context for anybody listening. We had a professor. He was Marty Abrams. I can like say his full name because like he loves like, you know, getting shouted out. I'm pretty sure people want to see his work.
Mm-hmm.
But Marty.
I never had him as a teacher. I remember just visiting his class one day, and I just struck a conversation with him because we were both into music, and we just talked about like music and animation.
Marty loved to talk about anything other than the class. I was a bad influence on his class because I would just constantly just talk about like different things. We would talk about Russian collage, like, you know, Soviet collage, like propaganda or anti-propaganda, and we took the whole class up just discussing that, and nobody learned anything that class, and I felt so bad for it. That was for an experimental animation class.
That's actually how we met, but like I wasn't a student.
Yeah, you were just in the class that day.
No, I was a teaching assistant.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you were the teaching assistant for that. Yeah.
I was.
Yeah, I kept thinking you were a student, and like, yeah, that's how we were just like, you know, interacting for the first.
I got paid to be there.
Yeah. Which was tons of fun, and Marty would invite a bunch of people to like, you know, come into the class. It's very interesting. Marty's connections are like insane and out of nowhere. Like you would not expect like him to have the connections that he did. I'm trying to think of like one in particular that he brought over. Which one was it? The big one. Oh, John Dilworth.
He comes into play later.
He comes into play?
Yeah.
Oh no. John Dilworth, he would come into class sometimes.
No, like I worked with him for years.
Oh, you worked with John Dilworth?
He was my mentor.
Oh, whoa! I didn't know that. Okay. So yeah, we were just talking about like our Professor Marty Abrams and how he brings John Dilworth into class sometimes, and now we learn about Anthony, like, you know, has been like studying under Dilworth. How did that work? Like, how did you like, you know, how did that whole situation happen with you and John Dilworth?
So I met John one day just like walking around the city, and like we just struck a conversation about animation, and and we just matched each other's vibes like immediately,
How'd you?
and we just run into each other like a few times after
Did-
that, and he was excited about my thesis.
Yeah. Did you just like? I'm just curious how that happened. Like, do you say like, did you recognize him in the street and you say, "Hey, John, I'm X Y"?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay, awesome. That's really cool. John's a really cool guy in that case. Yeah. I remember
Yeah.
he would come into like, Marty's like classes sometimes, and he would just kind of be there just chilling with Marty and not really like, doing much. It was very fun. It was just like nice having him as like a presence in the class.
Oh yeah. John's out there.
Yeah. He's a personality, and like you gotta be like not intimidated.
Yeah, because some people could like could not handle his energy, but like luckily I could. That's kind of how like also we stayed in touch.
Yeah. And that's really interesting that John's like, John Dilworth, the creator of Courage the Cowardly Dog, for anybody listening right now. Just, Anthony met him up a few times on the street, and they've just been in touch ever since. That's really cool.
Yeah, I actually was talking to him on the phone like just a few days ago, just to see how he's doing.
Oh, nice. How is he?
He's doing good. He's working on his short film right now. I worked on that for a brief time, but like I was actually gonna work more on it, but I got way busy that I couldn't like dedicate my time to it, and I feel really sad I couldn't.
I mean, you gotta learn, like, again, time management is a thing, and like you cannot stretch yourself too thin. You gotta like handle what you can handle and work on what you have at the moment.
Mhm.
But it's still, I mean, you got to work on it just a little bit too, you said, right?
I worked a lot on it. Actually.
Oh, you worked a lot. So never mind. So you already have like, your hand and your footprint in it, and that's really
Mhm.
interesting.
And I did like other stuff with him too. He did other projects that I helped
Yeah.
him out on. Like I was, for a moment, I was John's right hand man,
That's really cool.
and he taught me so much. I don't think I learned more about animation than in school than when I was with him. Oh my god.
Yeah, it's whenever you have like a proper mentor and tutor and you're working on projects, that's when you actually learn the most.
Yeah.
I feel. And
That's why when I asked Bob to be my thesis advisor, I don't want to take a class with him. I want him like all to myself.
that's very funny. Because me and Bob, like what happens with me and Bob a lot of the time is just like we just stumble into conversation and we just talk about like a lot of things, and then he would just like throw in a bunch of NDA stuff at me, and he's like, hey, check out this thing that I'm working on and that I cannot talk about it live right now because like, I don't want to like break NDA or anything like that, but like I learn about a lot of projects that Bob's been on just directly through him, and I learn a lot about the animation industry just directly through Bob.
Oh, me too.
Like what's happening, or like, what are some behind the scenes things happening at like places like Nick and what they're
Yeah.
planning on in the future, and I'm just like, oh cool. You should not
remember
be
that
telling
thing you
people
said?
this, Bob, but okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, do you remember that thing you said like when you saw like Bob's class and you were like, why aren't people taking advantage of that? That was me when I saw Steven DiStefano.
Oh yeah. That
Because he works with Gendy.
Yeah, and Steven DiStefano is he's done a lot of character design, and he's done stuff for Samurai Jack, the latest season that came out, and even before too, for anybody listening right now.
And Primal.
And Primal, yeah, he does a lot of like designs for Primal too. But Samurai Jack is like the big thing that most people know. And Steven DiStefano has a character design class, or had a character design class within the School of Visual Arts, and a lot of other things. He's a phenomenal person to learn off of. I wish I took some of his classes, but I saw Bob again. I came to school a year before you started, because, and then like I had to take a year break because I was dealing with cancer at the time. And
Yeah,
then,
I know.
Yeah, and
I'm
then I came
sorry.
to your. No, it's all good. I'm better, So water under the bridge, But then I got to your year, and like I learned that Steve DeStefano was doing like classes in character design, and I'm like, man, I should have went on this class. But then I started to realize, at some point you can just learn character design by yourself. You don't really need to like take a particular class, and like you can just literally talk to DeStefano. You don't have to be in his classes to like get critique from him. And so that's what happened with me.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest. Like, I kind of needed it. My character design skills weren't as good as like I thought they were.
Right. And sometimes you develop into it, but sometimes you need a guiding hand to help you out.
Yeah,
DeStefano
like,
is phenomenal.
that's what I used SVA for. I used SVA to take advantage of like everything that they had.
Yeah. No, we had killer professors. Again, Bob Camp, DeStefano, and more too. Like, I'm very grateful for all the professors that I had when I went there.
Frank Gresham.
Frank Gresham,
He's
yeah, too.
him and I are very close.
Yeah. Also, I gotta like give big respects to Albert Pardo.
Oh man, I
Yeah.
miss Al.
Miss Al too. Rest in peace, Al. But like, I learned the most from him, personally. And the information and like the tutelage that he gave me is indispensable. I still use everything he taught me to this day.
That's great. I did that with like Frank too. I think the best thing was like Frank and I like knew like what we wanted in like animation. We had the same like values and everything. And he came from a period that's like what I love. This is like my favorite period of animation.
The
MTV
period,
animation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love the MTV period a lot.
Same here. The Max is still one of my favorite shows of all time.
Mm-hmm.
For anybody listening, Frank Gresham is another professor that worked in SVA. He also worked on a lot of MTV projects.
Like Downtown, Daria, Beavis and Butthead.
Yep.
He also catered to like my love of music because some of my favorite musicians he ran into in the past.
Oh yeah, Frank also plays music too. I know that for a fact. He's in a band himself.
He's in a jug band.
Yeah, it's very fun.
Mm-hmm. But like his first gig he worked on like Pee Wee's Playhouse, and his delivery boy was Rob Zombie.
That is hilarious. I did not know that story. Rob Zombie was a delivery boy for Pee Wee's Playhouse.
Yeah, because he used to go to Parsons before he started up White Zombie.
That is amazing. Ooh. So, okay, this is trivia for anybody listening right now. Yeah, Rob Zombie was a delivery boy for Pee Wee's Playhouse. I did not know that. This is like new.
Yeah, he would like deliver like stuff for like the production and stuff.
That's awesome. That is hilarious. I actually really like that.
Because like I would go to his class with like White Zombie shirts and Guar shirts, and then he would be like Rob Zombie worked with us on Pee Wee, and then he'd be like, oh, I used to go to like I went to school in Richmond, Virginia, and I knew Dave Brocky of Guar before Guar started.
Man, Guar is an insane. I would not think about like Frank knowing anything about Guar. That makes him. That's cool. Frank does not strike me as like a Guar like person.
And like because like those were people he went to school with.
Yeah, that's really cool. Small world, when you really think about it, it's just like you never know the connections you make with people and who winds up being what.
And if you knew me in school, like I was crazy about Guar. I still am.
Yeah.
Hell, even Mark has a collection of like posters of like from his punk scene days, and he had a Guar poster and he gave it to me.
That's really cool. Yeah.
And
for anybody listening, Mark was the head of the animation department at SVA, and he managed a lot of the stuff.
Mark is like one of the sweetest people in the world.
Yeah, one of the greatest guys in the world. I would go to bars with him. He would treat me to drinks too. Phenomenal guy. And now he's working on his own things. He's moved on from SVA and he's doing his own independent films.
I think he was at like Titmouse for a bit.
Oh yeah, he was at Titmouse for a bit, but like he's directing his own stuff right now.
That's great.
And I'm very proud of him.
I am too.
But yeah, no, that's pretty much our school days. I don't want to like go into like how we were in school. We had guests on like last time in Radio Graffiti. Mike Karf and Adam Mikowicz. How do you say it? Yeah, I think I said it right.
Now you had it right.
Yeah, and Adam and Mike worked on Bridge Kids. If you're on Newgrounds right now, literally go on the front page on Newgrounds. You can find Bridge Kids on the featured animation part of the front page, and you can like give them a shout out, give them a look at. They do phenomenal work. But yeah, our graduating year, Mike was there. Mike Karf of Bridge Kids.
Oh yeah, another thing was like Mike and I hung out all the time.
Yeah, no, I remember the thesis labs. And like
it was always the same people.
Yeah, it was always the same people. It was me, you, Mike, our other friend Gregory Berry,
yeah,
PK.
He's doing good things too.
Yeah.
And Abe, PK.
Yeah. So shout out to all you guys. But yeah, no, that was pretty much like, the crew, and we're still doing things to this day. We're still producing stuff. And like it's nice to know that everyone's still making things and working together. Cause I know Mike, PK worked on, no, you didn't work on Bridge Kids, but PK did work on the last Bridge Kids.
Mm-hmm. So PK like is like who I always like go to for like freelance stuff. So every time I need like a hand, because I'm always busy with stuff, I'm like, hey PK, can you animate this thing for me? And he'd be like, yeah, and he would give it to me like in a timely fashion.
Yeah, and you also give me a bunch of storyboard work too, whenever you're tight on a schedule.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Like I always want to like hire like people I know who would like do really great. Like if I could help out all my friends, I really would.
Yeah, no, same here. Whenever like there's a project and I'm stretched for time and I know I can trust like friends to work on it, I will always defer to like people that I know will do killer work and do the job right. And that's pretty much how animation works in general. You gotta work with people, and you gotta like support your buddies whenever you can, because it's a very tough industry to like get into or like work in properly, especially nowadays. Actually, like I wanted to get into that like a little bit, like you're working on a lot of independent projects, right?
Yeah,
at the moment. We did mention earlier that Anthony works on Hell of a Boss, and currently also working on the Lackadaisy film that's coming soon.
Yeah, that's coming out this Wednesday, actually. And I dedicated, like, more than a year on that thing.
Yeah. Anthony has been doing a lot of work on Hell of a Boss, a lot of work on Lackadaisy. Yeah. I got them mixed up for a second.
It's all right.
But Lackadaisy is coming out soon. What was your role in Lackadaisy? Like, what type of assistance did you provide?
I helped out with some animation, but I was mainly a cleanup artist on there because that's what they needed at the time.
Yeah.
They needed cleanup animators.
And that's still a thing that a lot of independent studios and animators need. They just need a lot of cleanup because that's a very time-consuming process.
Yeah, and people like don't really realize like how much work goes into that.
Yeah. You have to keep the style clean. You have to match the style. Sometimes the animators don't have the style lined up properly, so
they don't have it lined up properly. Like they don't add the patterns and everything.
Yeah.
So it's basically you're basically doing problem solving. That's pretty much a cleanup artist, problem solving, and also like pretty much taking like the first draft that's there and just like building it up into what you see before you.
Yeah.
So everything you see that's final, that's like pretty much our work.
Yeah. And how was working cleanup on Lackadaisy, if you had to let anybody know like your experience?
I treated it like hand-drawn animation because they were doing full-on like like hand-drawn animation that like isn't really seen like as much these days. So they wanted us to take like inspiration from the Xerox era of Disney, stuff like Aristocats, Robin Hood.
101 Dalmatians, yeah.
Yeah, so I love that style to death.
Oh,
actually.
same. 101 Dalmatians is still one of the most aesthetically pleasing movies I've ever seen.
Robin Hood too.
Robin Hood, yep.
Like I just love it because it has soul to it, because like you actually see like an animator's touch on it. You see like the construction under there. You see like the little pencil like lines and everything. I love that, and we got to do that on there. We purposely did that.
Oh, you guys
with using like the node view on like Toon Boom. We have like
okay, interesting. Yeah,
so on that thing, I had to do all that too. Add all like the textures and everything, and plug them all into the node view and everything.
That's really interesting that they developed like a specific like node view for like the underdrawings within the Lackadaisy. Yeah, because that's part of the Lackadaisy style of the comic. Right. You see a bit of like the artist touch in there, like a bit of the sketchiness within like yeah. Okay, that's really cool. I didn't know that they like specified like a specific like layout for the animation process. That's cool.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see the final thing, because like the Lackadaisy has been around for a long time. For anybody listening, Lackadaisy is a webcomic that has been around. Let me see when, because I've been following it for a long time, but when did it first release?
I would tell like my friends, "Oh, I'm working on Lackadaisy," and they'd be like, "That's a name I haven't heard in a long time."
Right.
And I'm gonna be honest, I never heard of the comic.
Really? You didn't hear about Lackadaisy? Oh, you didn't?
I never did.
That's very funny. You worked on Lackadaisy before, like,
But, like, I heard about what was going on in the grapevine, and I was like, this is, like, the most ambitious project I've ever seen. And I was like, I would do anything to be part of it. And when, like, I was recruited, I was like, I didn't think I was good enough for it. I was just like, why me?
That's very. I mean, like, you have a very storied, like, history within animation. Especially, like, you worked with Bill Plimpton. You have that type of stuff under your belt where you can, like, work with traditional media and that type of style of, like, draftsmanship. And you also do a bunch of stuff for Hell of a Boss too. So I think, like, that helps you out a lot in, like, getting picked up.
Hell of a Boss helped out a lot, actually, with like my career. It got me like a major like studio gig, but like I was actually mistreated.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was a major studio where like I did get a dream job to pretty much.
Oh, I'm sorry. We don't have to get it too into like the specifics of it, but like what about like the process in that studio? Like like how did it stress you out? How did it like
I didn't get paid overtime.
Oh, that is a problem in animation.
And
that's not.
It was remote. I got a lot of like stuff to do like with very tight deadlines. And I only worked on like 2 cartoons of like the production, and I got omitted from the credits because they didn't think I did as much.
That makes me infuriated, because like I've dealt with similar things before in the past where I've like not necessarily dream studios, but like I've worked in studios before where they just did not credit me properly, even though I've done a lot of work for their stuff.
It's really sad.
Yeah.
Like I was really sad.
Yeah. And
because like I thought like this is like I thought it would have been like a big stepping stone, but like I'm not happy with how major studios are doing.
Yeah, no, it's this is a actually it's a good thing that you brought this up now, because this is a topic that I wanted to discuss. Like, again, you're working on a lot of indie projects, and how's your experience working on these indies? Hell of a Boss, Lackadaisy, how are they treating you, and like how are you enjoying the work for the indies versus like your studio experience?
Okay, so basically, it's very rewarding because like I'm working on projects that like I love and a lot of people love,
Mm-hmm.
and like it's doing a lot for animation right now, and I'm just glad to be a part of that. And like I'm treated well. I do the work on time, and like for that, like they just keep me around and they just keep giving me work, and like communication is very easy.
And that's a big thing, like having like proper communication, having a good like pipeline for your artists, and again proper credits. A lot of
Yes.
indies will credit every person that works in the pipeline, every single person. Hell of a Boss, those credits screens are just like insane, like tons of cleanup artists on there that you wouldn't see in like a bunch of like other studios, like major studios.
Oh yeah, I'm very happy like that like major like studios are taking notes by how Hell of a Boss is doing things.
And that's good, yeah.
And I've been on the show since season 1.
Yeah, no, I've seen your name on the credits, and I've been very proud. Like whenever I go out in the street, and whenever I'm in the train, and I see people with like a Hell of a Boss shirt, and like I'm like, oh hey, I got this buddy that like works on the show, and like check out their like Instagram original art, and like in like I'm just very proud like to be like, hey, I got like friends that work on the show. I'm very proud of all my friends that work on Hell of a Boss. It's just it's a fun production to see like blow up, and it has a consistent schedule too. Like a bunch of episodes have been coming out like in a fair like pace.
Yeah, so we are getting like a fair amount of episodes come out at like a good schedule base right now because of just so you have stuff coming out before Has Been comes out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Hasbin is also working in the background too. I forgot. I'm not gonna lie. I almost completely forgot about Hasbin Hotel. It's just all been like Hell of a Boss that's like taken like the spotlight for me.
Oh yeah, but like that should be coming out this summer.
Okay, that's cool. So for anybody like interested in like Hasbin Hotel, for if you don't know, if you somehow don't know Hasbin Hotel or Hell of a Boss, creator, animator Vivzy Pop from the Tumblr days and on the Twitter days right now, currently independent animator, also SBA alumni, same as us. Works on Hell of a Boss, works on Has Been Hotel. She created both of these series. They take place in the same universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just need to confirm that because I didn't know for sure. But she has been spearheading like an insane push within indie animation that I think only she could have done with her following and her fan base and like the way how she manages her community. And she raised a lot of money to produce like Has Been Hotel, and then afterwards produce Hell of a Boss off her own money, off of her own like income. Patreon, does she have a Patreon?
Yes, she does.
Yeah, so her Patreon and like her community has been like funding pretty much her projects and indie animation, and in turn she hires a lot of artists and people to work on it, giving people like work essentially within animation. A lot of people like start their gigs within like Vivzy Pop's like shows.
Oh yeah, it's a really good starting stone.
Yeah, and it's very good. It teaches people how to like work with a team. That's the big thing. A lot of people getting into animation forget that like it's a team effort.
Yeah, it's a collaborative effort.
Yeah, and
I wouldn't be anything without the team. I'm so happy with all the people I work with. I love the leads we work with. I love like my crew members. Like everyone's just so nice to each other.
Yeah, and I assume everything is super organized within Hell of a Boss at the very least.
Oh yeah, like yeah, things are pretty like organized. Like we get like reviews like at a certain day. Like we get like stuff like coming out like with weekly reviews and stuff from like producer like Adam. We love Adam. Shout out to Adam.
Shout out to Adam, and again, shout out to Vizzy Pop. And it's just I'm very hopeful for indie animation. It's I want it to grow more, and I want people. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of funding too. So like but I tell everybody, like, if you like indie animation, if you're a person that you don't necessarily need to be an animator, but if you're someone that really appreciates what these people are doing, just like give them like invest a little bit in it, because if we're not getting funding from big studios and networks are very reluctant on starting new shows and streaming services are going all over the place currently, and the animation industry, like the industry element of it is just getting a little crazy right now.
I don't hate the animation industry, but like I'm like I think there's things they could do better, like with mainly how they treat artists.
Yeah.
But like I noticed like artists are having their like voices being heard right now, and things have been improving as of late. But like I'm glad like artists don't gotta suffer like now than what was going on the past couple years.
Yeah. Ooh, people being laid off of shows left and right. I remember I had interviews to go and get onto shows, and then I got like I cannot name the studio. I gotta be very careful. But
I did the same thing.
Yeah, very very big places that were like, yeah, let's get you on board, let's put you on this project, and then they cancel everything, and then they dump everything, and then everything's dead in the water. And then I'm just like, well, okay, cool. There's nothing much I can do here.
I worked on an NDA project too that got canceled.
Yeah, it's never fun to hear, because like that's work that like is you're not gonna do, and that's like career that you can't like move forward. It's just a shame, but which is why I personally have been trying to push for my own things, while I'm also still like doing freelance and looking for other work.
There's another thing like I do want to talk about with like indie animation.
Yeah, go ahead, continue.
Like, as much as like indie's doing really great things right now, indie isn't like the ultimate like problem solver right now.
Oh yeah, not at all.
Because obviously it's not financially sustainable as like people think.
It's very like me making an independent comic and trying to make that my full thing. It's difficult. It's very difficult.
Like you don't become rich out of it. You don't like sometimes like you don't get like as much money as you'd like on certain productions, because like at the end of the day they're still independent. It's coming out of people's pockets.
Exactly.
You have like they don't have it as much backing, but like it's still great that there's more projects coming out of it, and like they're just making such amazing work, and I'm just so proud of everybody.
Yeah.
Just coming together. Like I mainly do it just for like the passion and how much indie animation is like really like helped like my career and helped like me get noticed out there. And I'm just very grateful for that. And there's just so many people doing great things right now. And I get to be on projects that I'm proud of and everyone else loves, and like that brings me great joy. Like I'd rather be on a project that like I love and like I'm proud of like getting up in the morning to do, than like working at a job I hate.
Yeah. I also
no amount of money in the world could do that to me.
Yeah. I feel like when you're working on projects that like you really want to be on, it feels really good. And then like the thing with animation is like work is work, and sometimes you're going to be working on project like this is just me talking to like people that want to get into the animation industry, right? Sometimes when you get into the animation, you're not going to do like cool fight scenes all the time. You're not going to do like everything. Sometimes you're going to like do like you're going to work on shows that aesthetically you don't like, that
Yeah.
are not your style, and you're going to be working on scenes that you're going to find boring. And animation's a job first and foremost, you know.
That's what I always tell people. Like, hell, like on Lackadaisy, I had like a couple like throwaway scenes, but like I still put like my all into it because like I'm passionate about the project and I always want to do good by everyone.
Yeah, you gotta, that's the professionalism that you gotta employ
Hmm.
within animation, because like you are like, again, work is work, and if you want to work in animation, you gotta be like fine, especially in your first few gigs, you gotta be like accepting of
Yeah.
like whatever jobs come your way.
Yeah. Yeah, and
And
I'm totally fine with whatever they give me.
exactly, and you gotta put your pride aside and think about professionalism, because people
Hmm.
need people to be professional, and you need to, like, you know, be on time. That's the first thing. You need to meet your deadlines.
Yeah.
uh
Luckily, I managed to meet my deadlines.
yeah. uh you got to manage your time too, because, like, you know, you can't have a producer like hovering over your like shoulder at all times. You got to, like, you know, manage your own, like, you know, scenes that you're going to be
Hmm.
working on.
And if like you keep keep everything good, like you meet your deadlines, like you do everything as you're like supposed to, like that gets noticed and that gets people to recommend you for other studios
Yeah.
because like you get hired more out of like word of mouth than like applications. That's what I've noticed in my career. I
Yeah.
don't think like I think out of like all the jobs I had, I think I only had like one job that was like an application.
Yeah, same here. I get all my jobs and like all my interviews based off of friends telling me like, "Hey, check out this guy."
Hmm.
And I kind of wish it wasn't like that personally, because, like, you know, I want my work to speak for itself rather than,
Oh
like, you
yeah.
know, people to speak for me. But, like, you know, that's the thing. Like, it's a very collaborative like community, and you gotta be. What you need to do is just be good to people, be kind to people, and do your work, and do your work well. Also,
Oh yeah.
what I recommend for people to do is ask questions. Whenever you're working in a studio and you're given a scene and you're given a project and you're like put in charge of something small, right? Like a scene or whatever, you need to ask questions. Because like the worst thing you can do is just, like, you know, kind of like, you know, assume what to do, and, like, you know, if you're unsure of something and you're too scared to ask a question because you're afraid of looking dumb or stupid, no, don't worry about that. Ask the question. No, there's no dumb question to ask your director.
That that's what Fable, like my director of Lackadaisy, said. Like, it doesn't matter how stupid the question is. Like, we're always here for you. It's better to like ask a question than not, because like because like we're always there to like help you out and stuff.
Yeah,
And like if you don't ask like the question, like the whole production suffers.
exactly, because, like, you know, it's better to do things right the first time than, like, you know, assume, like, you know, think you can figure it out on your own, or take forever to figure something out on your own. It's better to just be like, okay, hey, what do you need here? What does the scene need? What brush do I need to work on? Like, literally any question you can ask to, like, make sure you're going to do the job properly, ask that question.
Oh
And
yeah.
I do that for every production I'm on. And even when people bring me on for, like, you know, directing things or whatever, I'm always asking, like, hey, what do I need to do here? What are you looking for? What do you want me? What do you want this scene to be? What do you want the mood to be? Always ask questions. Always write notes too. Always keep like a notepad ready, so you know exactly what you need to do, and no ifs, ands, or buts.
Oh yeah. I got like a little notebook that I like keep aside whenever like I'm at meetings.
Yeah. So this is like these are tips from professionals, ladies and gentlemen. So I mean, like, that's something that I wish people would like get into the habit of, is just ask questions, because it's important. It's I think the most important thing you can do. It's also like you learn a lot by asking questions too.
Oh yeah, like I'm always like asking questions and just trying to get like reassurance because like I always want to make sure I'm doing everything right.
Yeah, and that's what makes a very attractive worker in animation, or in any team-based thing. It's not just an animation thing. It's a general life thing, especially if you're working on projects. But like especially in animation, just ask your director like, "Hey, is the scene good? What do I need to do here?" Like literally anything you can think of, just do it. Ask it. Make sure you know what you're doing, and then you're fine. Hell of a Boss. Are you still working on Hell of a Boss right now?
Yes, I'm still on the show.
Awesome.
I've been on the show for over 2 years now.
That is really cool. Have they given you like more like responsibilities since your time there?
It actually has.
Okay, cool.
They actually trusted me on the latest episode. They'd be like, hey, this animator doesn't want to like do this. Can you do a revision for this one scene? And basically, I got to make a whole scene my own. Basically, if you don't know, Moxie had like an ex-boyfriend. His name's Chaz.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
In like the mob, and he talks about like his time on like his time in the past with them, and there's like a scene where like he invites Chaz in, and he's like polishing like his gun, and he just comes in and just like polishes the gun. Basically, the original scene didn't have like any exaggerated faces. It was just like really stiff.
Right.
And they just asked me to do it. I was like, all right. So basically, I was like, all right, how about every stroke it gets faster and Moxie's face changes the faster it gets.
That's a really funny. And
the whole team loved it. They were like, you saved the scene.
Yeah. No, it's see, and that's what I want people to know. Not everything is just because everyone thinks the storyboard artist is like the be-all end-all of everything within animation. I'm like, no. The animators behind the scenes are the ones that get the final say at the end of the day. The director, well, the animation director gets the final say, but what really gives character and life to a scene is like the animators that work on that scene.
Mm-hmm.
And
I saw the storyboards for like Hell of a Boss and like Lackadaisy. Like they actually feel like actual storyboards.
Yeah.
Like the drawings are still a little crude. They're still like they're still on model, but like but they're still like rough enough so like that you can tell what's going on for like final character layout.
Oh, interesting. That's cool because like the way how I handle storyboards is just like I'm stuck in the animatic mentality of things, where it's just like I do tend to overpose my storyboards. You've seen my storyboards too, so you know them.
Yeah, and that's why I always come to you, because I was like, your boards are fantastic.
Thank you. And it's just I do that for myself because I have a very particular way how I see scenes in my head. I think about it as an animator too, not just as like, the storyboard artist, but like how I want specific things to move. So that's why I tend to overpose. But I could stand to like pose less because again, give the animator more room to breathe life into the scene.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
And not to be arrogant as a storyboard artist, to be like, my vision is the way how this has to go. No, it's the animator. Like, I need to give them the space to like, tell the scene, tell the story.
Because on Hell of a Boss,
yeah,
it's not just like following the storyboards. Like, I've seen the storyboards from completed animation where like the animator really shines.
Yeah.
Because like it's an entire production that like relies on that. Not like a mainstream like studio where like everything's done like overseas. So you got to be very precise because you don't want to like send everything back because you got to meet the deadline.
Yeah. And yeah, no, speaking of, like, indie animation is like you're very on top of, like, everything. Like, how the roles are delegated, how directors are talking with animators, versus, like, here where we do productions where everything in pre-production needs to be like hands down exact and microscopic to the details with storyboards, because everything gets done overseas, and they're kind of not the overseas animators. And I don't know if this is true for every production. I'm just like, I'm assuming right now, I'm not stating fact, but like based off of what I've seen, is overseas animators are not given the freedom to actually like shine as artists, and that's such a shame. They're also very overworked, and I have a lot of issues with the industry because of that. Because I care about all animators, not just like the animators over here in the States, but like animators from around the world. And the beauty of indie animation is you do hire animators from around the world, and you do respect, like, their time and effort, and give them the opportunity to shine.
Yeah, because at Spindle we have like a bunch of people around the world. We have people from all over the country. You have people from Mexico. You have people from Russia, Australia, the UK.
Yeah.
Just like they just grab like the people they feel like is best suited for this show.
And that's exactly how it should be for animation in general. Just work with everybody who's good. It's not just like, well, it's a mixed bag because of the way how working papers go, and like if you're running a business, I understand like the business element of it, like when you're hiring people from like around the world, and how do you like manage working papers that way.
Oh yeah, especially in tax season.
Yeah. And employment.
Because I run a mini kind of like independent studio too.
Tar Moon. For anybody listening, Anthony runs a studio, Tar Moon Studios or Tar Moon Productions.
Tar Moon Studios.
Yeah, Tar Moon Studios. And he's been growing it, trying to hire people on board, trying to work on like a bunch of it's pretty much a subcontracting studio, right?
Yeah, like people would like contact me like to do like commercials and stuff. We were on Times Square.
Yeah. Kofefe.
Yeah.
The VTuber streamer on Twitch. For anybody listening, Fifi on Twitch. Hired Anthony over here to direct a few commercials and advertisements, and one of them wound up being on Times Square for a day. That was
that was pretty much like I was fully involved with that. I did like all my girlfriend, like Jenny, who goes by Acidia Comics on Instagram. She has an independent comic which is very fantastic and really funny. You should check that out. She did the storyboards for that Times Square ad.
Oh, that's really fun. What's the name of the comic?
Acidia.
Acidia?
Yeah.
Acidia Comic is what I can search.
Comics.
Acidia Comics.
Yeah, X where like instead of the S.
Oh, gotcha.
And the C instead of the CS it's an X.
And I'm going to be putting that up right now for anybody on YouTube. So anybody looking at it right now, it's Acidia Comics with an X at the very end. And just to give a shout out there.
She did these like really funny like boards because like she's a talented board artist. Like she knows how to like stage like things really well. She knows how to like set up a story really well.
Yeah.
So
just looking at her pages and her comics right now, she has very good panel economy.
She does.
And it's I'm just scrolling through for anybody like on YouTube right now listening. and watching. Check out her work. Very good. I
Mhm.
have it on screen.
She's worked on music videos with me. She's worked on like commercials with me. She's done backgrounds too.
Yeah. Oh, Ghost Club official.
Yeah. That was my first Tar Moon gig.
Yeah. For anybody listening, Anthony directed and animated most of the music video for Ghost Club official. I'm gonna be putting it up on YouTube right now.
The first one I did was See Below.
See below. Yep.
So the story of that one was I was like I saw their newest music video, Same Graves.
Same Graves was a
like,
good one. Yeah, I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, so I was like, I really love this. So and then I contacted them. And I was like, hey, I really love this video. If you guys plan on doing another video, maybe you should like let me do it because like I'm a big fan. Maybe I need help. They're like, hey, do you want to direct it? I was like, we like your work. I was like, what?
That's really fun.
I was like, I'd be really glad to. And they gave me one song, and I was like, I don't know how I'm feeling this song. And then they gave me See Below, and I was like, okay, I can see the full story right ahead.
Yeah, for See
So-
Below.
Yeah, so I had the whole story about like a very like Hanna-Barbera-esque like ghost cartoon character, just like he's all like gloom and sad, but like he's being chased by his very own shadow, like literally,
Yeah.
and it can shapeshift into like different forms and everything. And I had like you like do like the last like act of like the music video.
Oh yeah, I did the last minute of the music. That was a wild story. I do want to get into this just a little bit because it's very funny how it happened. It's a miracle. I want to tell everybody like what happened with the last like my bit of the music video. Was a pure miracle. I didn't expect it to like happen like this. Anthony pretty much told me like, hey, you want to do some storyboard work? And I'm like, cool, sure. When do you need it by? And like, I think he gave me like, you needed it really soon at the time. And
Yeah.
then you gave me like a bit of the script and you showed me some of the character designs. And you said, yeah, I need 1 minute of animation about like this scene, and it timed it to a minute. And I was like, cool. And I
Yeah,
did
pretty
that.
much like just like an animatic.
Yeah, and I made an animatic for you within like I think 4 days. Yeah, and then at the very end of it, like when I gave it to you, you told me it was for a music video, and I was like, wait, I didn't know I was doing something for a music video, and I was like, I wish I knew it was for a music video from the get go, so I could have like timed it to the actual music, and then like you put it to the actual song, and for some miracle, and to everybody listening, do not do this way, but by some miracle, the animatic was timed to the music, like
Perfectly.
perfectly, without me listening to the music at all. And this does not happen. I got it back. I took the storyboards back for a little bit because I needed to adjust the timing ever so slightly to just to make it match up a little bit better with the music video. But I only adjusted like 1 shot or 2 shots, and very slightly, and that does not happen. It's impossible to like make audio. Not make audio, make an animatic without like listening to the music, and it worked. It just worked out, and I'm very proud of it. Like I'm just
proud of the whole music video.
yeah. It was a very good music video all throughout. I just liked a lot of the way how everything moved together. The backgrounds were very impressive too.
Oh yeah, they were done by John Sharon.
Yeah.
He works on Bridge Kids too.
Yeah, John Sharon worked on British Kids, and also shout out to John Sharon on Newgrounds for doing Rat Bastards.
That is such a good cartoon.
It's one of my Rat Bastards Underground is the name of the cartoon, and I'm putting it up on screen. Mike Karp also did the credits sequence for that one,
Oh yeah.
and if you're on Newgrounds right now, search Rat Bastards, all one word, and Bastards is spelled Basterdz at the end. If phenomenal backgrounds in that one too. John is just like, shout out John. He's Jonathan on Newgrounds. He lucked out with getting that name.
Oh yeah.
But he does phenomenal work. I've loved his stuff ever since, like, he was in school back in SVA.
Yeah.
He very funny, very talented voice actor too.
He is.
If you guys want to work with John, just like hit him up, let him know.
Yeah.
And he does phenomenal stuff.
Mm-hmm. So he did the majority of like the major backgrounds, and like the other backgrounds were done by Jenny.
Right.
And like I just did like throwaway backgrounds. So I was working on pretty much everything, like storyboards, animation, backgrounds. Like I was very hands-on on this production.
Yeah, and it was very good, and I was glad to be a part of it too.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So like everything just came out like really nice. I had Hannah, like who we went to school with, do like animation because I felt like her style would fit so good with the Shadow character. Because right. When I had the idea of the Shadow, I had her in mind.
Yeah, that's really, and I like a lot of the shots with the Shadow too. I'm just showing them on screen at the moment right now, and how it moves around and just appears, and the designs, the like many different designs and transformations that it takes. It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. And I had Leo help out on a few scenes too.
Oh, cool. Yeah, a lot of people like worked on this one production.
Mm-hmm. And I had one money shot scene. I wanted to get like a fellow Newgrounds animator that I love to like work on this one shot.
Oh, which one? Which animator?
Aatrox.
Oh, Aatrox. Yeah, okay.
Aatrox luckily was available, and I paid him how much he wants for just like 4 seconds of animation.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't care how much it'll cost you. I just want you to do this one scene because like I've always wanted to work with you.
That's really fun. That's actually really cool. That's a nice story. Because
if I wanted Aatrox to do a scene, I wanted to give him the best scene he could do.
Yeah, it's Aatrox Chobots on Twitter, at Twitter, if anybody's interested. He does very good work. He
works at Studio Yada. He worked on Skullgirls.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
showing his demo reel right now currently, where he's done stuff for like the OKKO trailer. He's done some like personal Cuphead animations. Amphibia. Oh, I didn't know he does.
Mm-hmm. He's been all over.
Yeah, he's been on Rick and Morty too. Yeah, Planet Panic also. Okay.
He also worked on what's this called? Zack and Tara's pilot, Long Gone Gulch, which I love to death.
Oh, Long Gone Gulch is phenomenal. Shout out to again Zach Bellissimo
and Tara Bellinger.
Yeah, they do phenomenal stuff. Long Gone Gulch was a project I've been following for a long time, and it was very exciting.
Me too. I was following that thing since the beginning because one of my like artist inspirations is Zach and Tara. Because
I can see that.
Because Zach and I both love cartoons and like horror.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he like does like character and his love of like rockabilly and like punk music, like really plays into like how we do things. And Tara's just an amazing character designer, and probably has the best color theory I've ever seen.
Yeah, Tara. Oh man, her work in the Disney
Mickey Mouse shorts.
Mickey Mouse shorts is some of my favorite of all time. I still look up to that, and it's just something that I want to do stuff like that too.
Oh yeah. So when I worked on See Below, I did have those shorts in mind.
I can see that now. You know, yeah.
Another thing I had in mind was you probably knew this about me. So I have this weird obsession with monster cereal, like
Yeah.
Boo Berry, Count Chocula, and Frankenberry.
Yep.
So I kind of wanted to design it kind of like an old like commercial based on like 60s cartoons.
Yep.
Because like you know how people kind of like, oh, let's do a throwback to like the Rubber Hose era. Let's throw it back to like 80s cartoons. I was like, no one really does like 60s cartoons.
Yeah. Nobody really does UPA style stuff either.
Oh yeah, no, people do throwbacks to like UPA too. I was like, let's throw back to like the Hanna-Barbera-esque kind of period.
Yeah. And Cibolo had a lot of Hanna-Barbera. I remember you told me that when you were discussing the style for the storyboards that you wanted me to do, and I was doing research. I was actively researching like Hanna-Barbera backgrounds just to get the feel of how the space works, and I did that for my shots.
When I talked to John about that, I was like, think of like Hanna-Barbera-esque backgrounds like Bill Ray, and he knew exactly what to do.
Yeah. Killer work. Again, props to John Sharon, because he brought like my storyboards to life with the backgrounds and everything there, and it's very exciting. That's what I love about doing storyboards, because I like seeing people's interpretation of them and how it's animated.
I did like majority of the animation in the act that you did.
That's fun. Yeah.
The ending scene was done by Hannah, and like couple of like, yeah, Hannah did like the shadow kind of like melting.
Yeah, that was a very, very good shot. I really like that one.
Some people kind of missed the ending of like they were like, is it the sun coming up and stuff? I was like, no, like the bullet went through him and it cracked the window, having the sunlight come in.
Yeah, it's a you blink and you miss it sort of thing.
Yeah,
but it is a lot of like the sun is coming up and like it does like end the shadow right there. So like I can see that interpretation too, and it still works. I still like approve of it. Me as like the storyboard artist behind it. I will like concede to that point.
And then they asked me to do a second video.
Oh yeah, and that was also a very good one too.
And that was both me and Jenny's baby, so we didn't ask for any help on that one. It was just both us. She did all the storyboards, she did all the backgrounds, I did all the animation.
It was, yeah, the All I Know official music video. And I really like the way how this one also panned out. I really love the backgrounds here too.
Yeah, she nails city styles really well. That's her forte.
Yeah.
And we're actually planning to do a third one.
Oh, that's really cool. I'm very excited.
I'm trying to make it like as ambitious as it can be.
I'm very excited to see that actually.
But like the only problem is like there's barely funding right now, so I'm trying to like get enough together so we can do a crowdfunding so we can get the video done.
Oh, please. Okay, thank you for bringing that up here. Okay, so if you need any help or support with crowdfunding and to get promotion out there, I will gladly do my best to get people on board with it, and also put it up on Newgrounds if you make like a small little trailer, mini trailer for it too.
I'm trying to like have like enough stuff that it can be shown, where like there's some animation that's done. There's a bunch of visual development,
right?
And the animatics pretty much like all boarded out and done.
Cool. I mean, like, what would you guys think? I mean, like, this is just me like spitballing ideas right now, but like, were you thinking about like Kickstarter or Indiegogo or something like that?
Something like that.
Okay.
I'm Kickstarter or like Indiegogo, because not sure if I can do like rewards for just a music video. I had to talk to like the Ghost Club, but like some of the stuff like I paid out of pocket,
yeah,
which wasn't good.
Yeah, and I mean, I did the same thing with my own Kickstarter when I was doing the promotion for it. It's just before I even got any money. It's just the nature of things is you gotta pay people, you gotta work with people, and you gotta spend your own money. That's okay. See, this is the one thing I will tell people about indie animation is you're not gonna get rich off of it.
Oh no, I talked about that earlier.
Yeah, but like I'm just like reiterating that point. Is just you gotta spend your own money, is the thing, and that you need money to spend to start indie projects, not just animation, but like comics or anything like that. It's an investment. You gotta like make sacrifices, and sometimes they don't pay off as much as you think they will. But you gotta do it. You gotta do it for the love of it. If you want to do indie anything, you gotta love what you're doing. But yeah,
that's why I'm in it, because I love it.
Yeah.
And I pick up a couple of commercial work just so I can work on these things.
Yep.
And oh boy, I took on so much at once during 2022, and I suffered for it.
Yeah, I remember you were going through a lot of stress, and you had to defer a lot of work to other people because like you were like working on too much at once.
Yeah, and it makes me sad because I do want to work on this stuff, but I don't have the time.
Yeah, it's we have human limits is the thing.
Human limits, and also I know I'm not getting paid as much to like do these things.
Yeah.
And I gotta get it out in time, so I'm like, it doesn't feel so, and that does take a toll on you. And there was a point where like I was on autopilot like the end of the year because I was doing so much at once. I was working on so many productions.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing like 4 or 5.
Yeah, 4 or 5 productions at once at the same time.
Yeah,
and I can't imagine that. It's that's too much. That's the pain of freelance. Cause freelance is like it can be very good money if you're taking on a lot of things at once. Is the thing.
Yeah.
And
but the majority of the time, like I gave it to other people.
Yeah. Because there it's just like again, you can only do so much by yourself. And ideally we can work in big studios and just what do I want to say? Work in big studios, have consistent and stable pay, and we only work on one project. And that's like the dream, right?
I guess so. Honestly, I feel like I'm ready to go back to studios.
Yeah?
I kind of want to go back.
Okay. I mean, I would love to go into a studio. That's something I've been trying to break into for like the longest time, like proper studio work. Not just freelance, but like stable studio job.
Yeah, like I just dedicated to all the freelance and stuff I've gotten.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot of good things with it.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy. I was on Times Square. I did commercials. I did like music videos. I got to work with some of my favorite bands, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing. I got to work with like Gwar one time.
Oh, you did work for Gwar?
Yeah, I did like a poster for their Gwarween.
Wait, can you Gwarween? Okay, let me Google that right now. I was gonna ask you to like post it in the chat, but
I could.
Gwarween. I'm trying to find your.
It was just a poster for Irving Plaza for like a one-time event.
Oh, how far ago was it?
This was like 2020.
Gwarween 2021.
1.
Because like they've done stuff in Irving Plaza for like a little bit. Oh man, where is it? Wait. Did I find? No, I didn't find it. No, I can't find it on Google.
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, I appreciate that. But yeah, Guaroween. For anybody that doesn't know what Guar is one of the most insane metal bands. Their productions live, it's one of the best like experiences you could possibly have at a show. They do a
Really?
lot of practical effects. They splatter the audience with blood sometimes. Like fake
No,
blood.
like no, the whole time,
The whole
gallons.
time, yeah. And
You will come home drenched.
it is ridiculous. I recommend, like, if people can, I mean, even if you're not into metal or anything like that, I still highly recommend going to a Guar show whenever you have the time. It's a once in a lifetime type of experience, and I feel like people should experience Guar shows because they do different things every time.
Every tour.
Yeah, every tour they do something new and something crazy and over the top, and it's very fun. My buddy Jeff also loves Guar.
That's
I've had him
awesome.
on the show in the past too, and like we discuss metal all the time, and it's very fun. I lean more into the punk spectrum of things, personally.
Here it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna be putting it up. Guarwin. Oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah, I remember this on Instagram. Not on Instagram. When you were posting about it. But yeah, I'm showing the whole for people on YouTube. But for people listening, it's Guaroween. It has this decapitated demon head with exposed like brains and like biting a jack-o'-lantern, like held by like a Halloween like jack-o'-lantern with like, you know, a demonic presence and look. It's very, very aesthetically pleasing. I'm glad that they got you on it.
Yeah, because like they're very approachable guys.
Yeah. No, it's very fun. Man, I want to do art for Guar. That's really cool. No, it's yeah, Anthony is a very, very storied artist and animator. Please give him a follow. Random Harry on Newgrounds, Twitter, Instagram. It's all the same name everywhere, right?
The works. Actually, I never told you my funny story.
Oh yeah, about how you got the name Random Harry. Yeah, go ahead.
So my original name was Random Hero because it was just like I made this account when I was like younger, and I just stuck with the name because it was like a random generated name.
Yeah.
And I had like a night where I played Jackbox with someone.
Right.
And I kept spelling it wrong because I was typing really fast to Random Hiri so much.
Okay.
Like, I did it like 4 times in a row, and I was like, screw it, that's my name now.
Okay. Jackbox made you completely reinvent your, like, you know, branding and persona online. And that's very funny. But please, if you're listening on Newgrounds, type Random Harry, as in Heri instead of hero. It's Harry. Harry.
I say Hiri.
Hiri. Okay, that's better. Random Hiri. And no space, Random Hiri. It's also the same thing on Twitter at Random Hiri. Follow Anthony's stuff.
I appreciate that so much.
He's a very, very, very fun artist to follow. And it's always fun to see your updates on your professional side of things too, because you're very proud of the work you do. And I think that's what everyone should feel about their work. They should feel proud of the productions that they've been on. And
because no matter what you work on, you gotta love what you do.
Yeah. And you gotta be proud of, like, you know, it's work. You gotta be proud of your work. You gotta be happy that you're doing the things that you're doing. And Anthony's one of the most, like, well-spirited and kindest people within animation.
Oh, really? Thank you.
Yeah. Also, your band too. I need to actually go to one of your shows proper.
Oh yeah, we play all over the East Coast.
Yeah, Widows. Oh, you guys tour around?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. I did
We
not.
just had a show in Pennsylvania last week.
Okay, so for anybody listening, Widows is the name of the band. They mostly play in the NYC area, if I'm not mistaken.
Sometimes, yeah, but like we have a draw in Philly, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York,
Have you guys done any shows
Connecticut.
in Salem by any chance?
That's actually kind of in the works.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna go for that one.
We shot a music video in Salem, actually.
That's really fun. Oh yeah, which one?
Home Sweet Halloween.
Home Sweet Halloween? Yeah, let me put that up right now.
But like that was like many years ago. I do like a bunch of stuff with the band now. So I've done all the artwork for the band. I've done like all like the single art you see, all the posters you see, promotional stuff. And also like in the band I do a thing where like every show I try to do a different look every show. We're heavily based off of like horror themes.
Yeah.
And Halloween. It's a band that's supposed to be Halloween every day.
That's what I love about the Widows, and I love the outfits that you guys have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's
Everyone's kind of like an outfit. Like, look, while I'm gonna do something different every show. Like one day I could be like a four-eyed demon. I could be like a very trampy looking Mickey Mouse.
That's very fun.
I can be like a priest. I could be a vampire cowboy.
Yeah, no, it's and you keep it in the theme of the band. Yeah. I feel like every time, and it's very fun to see your outfits and costumes. I love going through my Instagram story and like seeing a bunch of your different like fits for shows, and it's very fun.
And
I wanted to ask.
I have a show this Saturday.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna like cover my face in bandages, and I'm gonna make my face look like a German expressionist painting.
That's very funny. That's like not very funny, but it's also very cool. I just like like what I say funny is just the concept is just so out there, and that I really like it, and like it just like catches me off guard. I enjoy it.
What were you trying to say?
I wanted to ask about Widows. How did that start?
Oh, so I wasn't like the original member of the band. So that belonged to my friend Shane, who was like childhood friends with my girlfriend Jenny, and we went to one of like their shows one time, and I was like, "This is the coolest band ever."
And how did you wind up joining the band?
They wanted to like they wanted me in the band because they want to do like a different shift, and then Shane was like, "Hey, you play guitar, right? Can you be in the band?" I was like, "Sure."
That's very funny. That's kind of like how my band worked. Well, it's not my band. It's like the band that I'm in, Dirty Chefs. We just like have some music out right now on our Bandcamp. Not much, but like we just wound up being like three dudes that just, hey, can we all play instruments? Cool. I play guitar mostly, but the way how we handle our music is just we cycle instruments within each other depending on the song.
Yeah.
So I started with just I just play guitar. I play mandolin mostly, but like I also play guitar.
Mandolin, that's awesome.
Yeah, I have one in my room right now hanging up, and I always like fiddle around with that a little bit. But we just hung out one day. We were like, hey, we want to like make music. We want to like produce stuff and do stuff with our music and like create like a band and we're like make albums and everything with unique forms and all that. But we wound up being like, hey, what instrument do we play? I play guitar, one of my buddies plays bass, one of them plays drums, and it started turning into like, oh hey, we can all like sort of just play all of each other's instruments, and we just like find like whatever jams work with whatever show,
Oh,
I wonder
yeah.
if they're listening right now, because sometimes they do listen in on the show. And shout out to Connor and Nathan if you guys are listening right now. You guys do phenomenal work. They do most of the music production and everything. Sometimes I just go around and like, just like whenever we do a jam session, we come up with like really interesting things, and then they take it to post production and do like phenomenal work.
Yeah.
But it's fun. I like being in a band, and I'm
But
sure
like,
I'm sure you love being in Widows and enjoy it.
I love it to death, and because I've always wanted to like be in a band and stuff, and just like do a lot of theatrics stuff, because all the bands I love have always been like kind of like shock rock mixed in with like a lot of metal themes and stuff.
Yeah, no, it's
and punkish.
Yeah, you guys definitely hit the shock rock value within Widows.
We're pretty sleazy. We're like a sleaze rock kind of band, and we've had success. Like we've opened up for like big bands like Faster Pussycat, Enough's Enough.
Wow. Okay.
Pretty Boy Floyd.
Enough's Enough. Wow.
Wednesday 13.
Wow. Okay. Where at? Like where did you have the show with Wednesday 13?
Two places. This place called Debonair and Dingbats.
Okay. Within I've heard, where's Dingbats?
Clifton, New Jersey.
Okay. And where's Debonair?
Teaneck, New Jersey.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But like we're friends with like Wednesday too.
That's really cool. Man, I miss playing like it live, because I used to do that like way back in the day in high school. And
yeah, but
oh man. And doing stuff
and like my bandmates had like alumni too in other bands.
Oh, that's really fun. What other bands have you guys like?
My singer used to be in this band called Cancer Slug for like 5 minutes.
Okay, cool.
And they're kind of well established. The singer of that band also ended up singing for Doyle the Misfits.
Wow. Okay.
And Dizzy.
Small world.
Yeah. So this was our biggest like connection. Dizzy, our drummer, used to sing in a band called The Rejects, and ended up evolving into another band called the Murder Dolls. And his best friend was Joey Jordison.
That's bro. I'm geeking out.
Yeah, so all the connections from like Iowa, all the Iowa people know who we are, so we have connections with all those guys.
That's insane. Okay. That's really cool.
Like AC, like Murder Dolls too, he plays with like the Misfits too, and Dope.
Yeah. Oh my.
Yeah, we're in connections with him too. We're connected with Wednesday. Sadly, Joey's not with us anymore.
Yeah, that was
And that's kind of what made us want to get stronger. We wanted to do everything for Joey.
You know, that's an honorable thing.
And we always go by his advice and his philosophy.
Yeah. Joey Jordison. For anybody listening. And
yeah, like he's mostly known for the drummer of Slipknot, but like the thing, like he was in the guitar stuff, the Murder Dolls.
Yeah.
So if you knew like kind of like that scene in like the 2000s, they kind of like pioneered that a bit. They came out at a good time when that was kind of popular.
Yeah, they definitely were a bit of their own thing, I can see a lot of your like, style in the Murder Dolls actually.
Very.
Yeah.
Very.
It's really cool, and like I love what you're doing with the Widows, and I'm hoping you guys develop a bit more. I hope you get more shows and gigs.
We have been getting a lot of shows. Also, another thing we do at every show, we have Joey's rune from his funeral, and we take that to every show.
Wow. Okay. That's wow. That's
We
pretty
have
crazy.
we have his sticks. We have like a bunch of stuff from him.
That's really cool. That's very humbling and very sweet of you
Yeah.
guys to like do that. Wow, that's
We miss him very much.
yeah. No, when I heard, I was just like, whoa. It like hit me like a truck. Like, yeah.
It wasn't like it didn't feel like, you know how like when a celebrity dies, people are like, oh man, my favorite singer or like my favorite actor died. This was different.
Yeah, it was like someone that was a part of your life, essentially.
I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
That was not a good time.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. Yeah, it's very different when it's just like a personal attachment type of thing. But yeah, I'm very glad that you guys are like paying homage and honoring the memory of Joey Jordison. And
Yeah.
you guys are doing good work. Again, not good work, but like you're making good music. You guys are doing a lot of fun stuff, and it's very nice to see you pursue it more. I think right now we're gonna move on to our viewer questions, and then
Oh, we got questions?
yeah, we do. Not a crazy amount, but we got enough to like get through.
Okay, let's do this.
All right, we got a few from Pastelfire on Twitter.com, at Frailbull on Twitter. So number one is Hola, how was your day? So how's
I'm doing good, thank you.
Yeah. So Anthony's having a good day. Number two is, what is your favorite/disliked food? So she's asking for both of your most favorite and disliked foods, if you have any that you can share off the bat.
Oh, me, I love curry.
Oh, curry's really good. What style of curry do you like? Indian curry, Japanese curry?
Japanese curry
Yeah.
with chicken katsu and shrimp.
Oh yeah, like the tempura shrimp.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the good stuff right there.
Me and Jenny go there all the time. We go to this place called Abiko. They have some of the best curry ever.
Ooh, Abiko, shout out to Abiko. I might actually have to go there soon.
That's in K-Town.
Yep. Okay, I'll definitely like hit that spot up. So K-Town, New York City. If you guys are ever in the area, check out Abiko.
Yeah.
Anthony and his girlfriend attest to it.
We every time like we go out to dinner, we're like, let's go to Abiko. That's kind of like our place.
That's very fun. That's
Yeah.
nice.
And also, I love Italian food because I'm 100% Italian.
Hey, Anthony.
So I cook a lot. I'm part of the Pizza Tower now. I'm part of the Pizza Tower fandom.
This is a part of the lore, Pizza Tower lore, Anthony.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, speaking
And,
of, do you like that game?
I never played it, but I appreciate what it's doing.
Yeah, I think you would like it a lot. Is what I'm gonna say. I think you'll enjoy a lot of it because it's very you. You would enjoy so much of it. But yeah.
Hold on. Jenny just texted me. She's like, I think it's Korean curry. So my bad.
Okay. Korean
My bad.
curry.
My bad.
Yeah. No problem. What else? Oh,
let's see.
dislike foods. If you have any foods you dislike.
Foods I don't. Let's see. Stuffed artichoke.
Stuffed artichoke, interesting. Like interesting that it's that specific, like style of like But what about stuffed artichoke that like gets you like annoyed?
I hate the texture of it.
Okay,
And also like
you're the same as me. Like I just dislike bad texture in foods.
I don't have anything that I dislike in general, but
Yeah.
but there's this one Thai restaurant. I usually like Thai food, but this one Thai restaurant I went to was the only time I gagged at food.
Wow. Interesting. Was it undercooked or not?
Undercooked. Undercooked. They hid it by drenching it in nothing but like lemon.
Oh no.
Nothing but lemon, and I'm not a fan of lemons either.
Okay. You don't like the citrusy sour. Okay.
Nah, I'm not a sour person.
Okay. Fair enough.
Hmm.
Uh,
I used to not be into spicy stuff, but I'm actually growing it to it more.
that's nice. Yeah,
I used to be a baby.
spicy food is everywhere, and it's just a part of a bunch of different cultures. I just love spicy food a lot. That's my own personal, like, favorites. I mean, okay. I have very little food I dislike. I like most food. But, like, as far as what I dislike, I've said this on the show multiple times because I get this question every time. And it's always boiled okra. I do not like
Ooh.
boiled okra. Again,
Ooh.
it's the same thing with you in terms of like artichoke, stuffed artichoke. I just really don't like the texture. I like fried okra. I like air dried okra. I like sun dried okra. I do not like boiled okra.
Oh man.
It's just too slimy for me.
What's the next question?
The next question is, how long does it usually take you to draw and animate? And that's a very complicated question.
Let's see. It kind of depends on what I'm doing. I could get a scene done in like a day. That's like 5 seconds. I'm usually pretty quick about stuff, but if I'm like distracted, like it'll take me a couple days.
Yeah. So on average, it takes like an entire workday to do like 5 seconds for
Hand-drawn animation.
Yeah, for hand-drawn animation. And I feel like that's essentially what I do. Depends on how I do the scene. Sometimes if I do very limited animation, I can get like a minute done in the day. But that's if I'm like very like judicious with my posing and how I space the scene and elements. But for frame by frame, like, if I'm working in twos or something like that, I can get like, again, at most 5 seconds done within the day. And that's just like the rough animation. Drawing, surprisingly enough, it takes me longer to draw than it takes me to animate. Because I don't know if it's the same with you, Anthony. I animate very quickly. Like I can get a full drawing done for animation relatively quickly, but when it comes to illustrating, it takes me like 3-4 hours to get like the pose done and the character fully drawn out.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's the same for you.
Yeah, but like I've been working with characters that are really detailed and have a lot of patterns for the past couple of years, so I've just became accustomed to it.
Yeah. How long would it take, like, let's say the Guar piece, how long did that take you to do?
Couple hours.
Couple hours? Wow. Props to you. That would take me like 3.
Yeah, mainly like 2 hours.
Yeah. Next question is, what do you do if you have artist block?
Me?
Yeah.
I would work on something else.
How so? Like, just so I can, like, figure out what do you mean. So let's say,
Like if I'm having trouble on a hell of a scene,
right.
I would just work on like something else I have assigned.
Okay. So that's,
Like just walk away from it for a bit.
okay, yeah, that's generally good advice for anybody with any type of block. Is just don't force yourself to get something finished. You need to like breathe a little bit and try and expand like your mind. I mean, I agree. Step away from something.
Yeah, take a break, go for a walk,
Yeah.
do some chores.
Yeah, don't force yourself. You never get anything really good done if you're like forcing yourself to do it.
That's kind of what I suffered last year.
Yeah, because you had a lot to work on. You were forcing yourself to finish stuff. Yeah.
I'm trying to do things differently this year, and honestly, I've been doing better since.
I'm really glad to hear that. I'm very happy to hear that. Like, you're pacing things a bit better. Next question, and same person asks, if given the chance, what big animation studio would you like to work for? So,
Let's see. big. Because I love a lot of studios, but like
Same here.
if I had to like work at like a big one, Leica.
Capital B, capital S, BS, big studio.
Yeah, I love Leica.
Leica? Oh, yeah. Would you want to be doing stop motion stuff for Leica? Or.
I actually do know how to do stop motion,
Nice.
and I would want to do like visual development for Leica.
Oh, I can see you doing that. I can see you doing visual development for Leica. Leica's. Man, it would be cool to work for Leica. I don't think I have like the chops for it. Is the thing.
Yeah, but
I'm trying to think of what my dream studio would be. I mean, I love Titmouse. I've always loved Titmouse.
of course.
And
they do amazing work too, and they're great to work with too.
Yeah. I think Titmouse has always been like my dream ever since Motor City came. Oh yeah, I wanted to say what got me into. Like, we didn't get into this in this show. I'm glad that I thought about this right now. What got me into animation was literally Motor City. Why I wanted to pursue animation. I saw Motor City in 2011 or 2012. 2011, yeah.
I love Motor City.
And yeah, I saw Motor City. I was like, I need to work in animation, and I need to work on something like Motor City.
You want to hear? I totally see it with your work, but you want to hear something cool? Al worked on Motor City.
Yeah, I know. In the animation block that I signed up for, I saw Bob Camp, and I looked up, okay, who's doing the compositing class? Al Pardo. I looked up his stuff. I was like, oh, he worked on Super Jail. Oh, he worked on Motor City. And what Al did is just like, he gave me all the scenes that he, like the working files. I still have the working files from Motor City in my hard drive.
That's amazing.
And I can add, like, I have the head models and everything there because they're all like rigged within there. I could potentially animate a Motor City scene because I have the assets on it. I would probably get fucking cease and desisted because
That's awesome.
I'm working with like, you know, hyper specific things, but I still have these assets.
Well, when I got L too, because one of my favorite shows, animation wise, is Super Jail.
Yeah, Super Jail is. I also have some working files from Super Jail also.
Oh, Al gave you some?
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, he saw that I was a fan of Motor City. One day in class, he was like, just because of Gens, I'm bringing like all these working files over here to show everybody, like, you know, how it is. I'm just a huge Motor City fan, and he worked on the Duke of Detroit, which is my favorite character in animation.
I know I pretty much call him an Al character at this point.
It's oh, dude. I'm glad that I got the experience to, like, you know, have Al as a professor.
Me too.
Because he was phenomenal. But yeah, Titmouse is a dream studio of mine. Leica is a dream studio of Anthony's.
I would love to like be like Titmouse full time though, not just like for a little, not even for a tiny bit.
Same. If I can work on like any Chris Bradowski project.
You want to hear the funny part?
Yeah.
So the scene that made me want to get into animation is a Chris Prunensky thing.
Oh, which one?
So the thing that made me want to get into animation was the white zombie scene in Beavis and Butthead Do America.
Oh. Wait, no, how long ago was that?
That was 1996.
Yeah.
You've seen the Beavis and Butthead movie, right?
Yep.
You know where Beavis eats the cactus and he starts hallucinating?
Yes.
That scene.
That's hilarious. You know, I see that. I can definitely see like you seeing that and being like, yeah, I want to work on animation now.
It had everything I loved: cartoons, music, like really grotesque designs.
Yeah, it's
everything. Also, really cool colors.
I would call it Anthony Core.
Yeah, that scene is Anthony Core. That's what I describe it.
You know what? Yeah, that completely makes sense. That checks out.
Another thing was Feel Good Inc. from Gorillas.
Oh,
When
classic. Yeah.
I saw it on VH1 along when it first came out.
Yeah, I remember seeing that on MTV a bunch when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm. So
And
my younger brother, for some reason, wanted to watch VH1 every morning. I don't know why.
that's okay.
And I didn't care for the stuff back then. And then this video comes out, and I'm like, "What is this?"
Yeah, no, I think that's every kid's reaction when they saw like, Gorillas for the first time, like of our generation.
Because Gorillas taught me animation doesn't have to be Disney. It doesn't have to be Cartoon Network. It doesn't have to be Nickelodeon. And that's kind of what made me want to get into animation too.
I love Gorillas because they do a lot of mixed media as well. It's not just pure 2D animation. There's 3D.
Jamie Hewlett's actually my favorite artist ever.
Oh, Jamie Hewlett's phenomenal.
I met him too.
Oh, that's really cool. My buddy...
I met him in 2016. He had a gallery in New York City. I was like, I have to meet him so bad. And he was the nicest person I've ever met. Like there wasn't as much people there. Like, it was just like the gallery was full, but it was like a small gallery.
Got you.
And Damon Albarn was there too.
Wow. Okay, that's awesome.
And this was before Humans came out. This was like a year before Humans came out. So I asked.
Oh, this was like a while back. Okay.
So I asked Damon, "Hey Damon, can you sing a lyric off the new album?" And he's like, "Hallelujah, money."
That's such a very David Albarn thing to do. Okay, you know what? Yeah.
And he signed my Rise of the Ogre book.
That's very cool.
Fun fact: I got that book in like 2006.
Right.
In a bargain bin. It was like $7 in a bargain bin.
Well, you know what? Okay, we take it. We take those.
And do you know how much that book is now? It's like over $500.
That's... You know what? You can find amazing things in bargain bins sometimes that people do not understand the value of. Yeah.
That book is super expensive now, and I have it signed by both Jamie and Damon.
Yeah, you got like the Big Bang like version of that book. That's really cool.
I got the Sheldon Cooper Bazinga of it.
The Sheldon Cooper Bazinga. But yeah, no, I love Jamie Hewlett. He's a really good artist. I also love another artist that works a lot with gorillas, Robert Valley. He's my personal favorite.
I love Robert Valley.
Yeah. Again, we were talking about Motor City, and Robert Valley's designs are all over that thing. And
you want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
I remember Jamie promoted Motor City when it came out because of Robert, and I was like, "Yep, I'm gonna watch the show because Jamie told me to watch it."
That's very funny. I really like that. Yeah. No, they're good friends with each other too, Robert and Jamie. I got another one of my friends, Azu on Newgrounds. His name is Cody, and Cody and I, like, we have the Jamie and Robert dynamic going on between us because he loves Jamie Hewlett. His style is very reminiscent of like that style of Jamie Hewlett, and my stuff is more angular, like that leans on the Robert Valley end of the spectrum.
Oh yeah.
And it's just we have that, like, friendly competition element of it, where just like, he does the Hewlett stuff, I do the Robert stuff, and like we just like, support each other. He did the design for my shirt for Boxcar City. I think you support my Kickstarter, right?
I did.
And you got the shirt?
I was actually gonna ask you. You don't have to mail it to me. You could just I could just meet you in person. Well, you could just give it to me because I just wanted to support you. That's all.
Yeah, I greatly appreciate that. Yeah, I got a shirt designed by my buddy, and I'll hand it over to you. I'm very happy about that. But yeah, thank you.
I remember seeing Robert's design of Julie. I saw his character sketches of Julie, and I'm like, these are so good.
Right? I was like, I saw that, and I was like, I need to figure out how to just incorporate that into my own. I need to absorb it. I need to get some sort of osmosis. If there's an art book for Motor City, I would love to own that thing. I don't know if there is an official production art book.
Why isn't there an art book of Samurai Jack too?
there's something about the West and animation in the West where they don't produce these types of materials that people would absolutely love and spend a ton of money on.
Because I would just kill just to see a bunch of Scott Willis paintings.
Right? Wouldn't that be awesome?
Because his background work on Samurai Jack is amazing.
It's some of the best that's like I've ever seen on television.
Also Primal.
Yeah, he does work on Primal too. Oh man, I would love I think there is a Primal art book. There should be a Primal art book.
I don't think there is, but like if there is, just send a link to me right now and I will buy it right now.
I'm looking. Please. No. They don't have.
You let me down, Vince.
Man, Adult Swim let you down. It's not my fault.
I know they're working on season 2 DVD or Blu-ray right now because I remember on Scott's like Instagram he said they were working on special features for it.
Yeah. And okay. I hope something comes out, something official comes out that I could purchase. Not just prints, but just like something like, production end of things.
I got season 1 on Blu-ray and I barely pick up like physical media these days.
Yeah. Me too. I mostly buy music. Like I buy vinyls, and that's pretty much like where all my physical media goes. But like if there's a movie or show that I really like, I will pick up the DVDs for it.
I don't have the turntable, sadly.
Right? But yeah. Last question by Miss Spooky at the Miss Spooky on Twitter asks, if you had unlimited time and budget to make a show or movie, what would you make? And that's a fun one to end off on.
I do have a dream project.
Yeah.
That I always. Do you remember those characters like I wanted to make Egg Day with?
Yes.
So, here's what like the whole project's about.
Mm-hmm.
It's about like in a demonic world, like these 4 band of like demons somehow like work their way up in the ranks to like be guards at like this the demon overlord's like castle, and they just run amok. They're degenerates. They're causing like pranks and stuff, and they get banished to Earth.
Okay, so
as a
demons
punishment.
gets into Earth as punishment. Got you.
And they end up coming to Earth in like 1965.
Oh.
And when they came to Earth, like there was like they're at the back of a pub where like some hippie band's about to go on, and it ends up imploding, and the whole band dies. And they're like, and they get mistaken for the band.
Okay, that's really funny. All right.
So they're like, oh, let's go undercover because they don't know what humans are like, and they're actually scared of humans because it's like a different world.
So these it's 4 demons, I assume, right?
Yes, and they're chicken shit of humans.
Yeah, so they just like come to Earth and they just stumble into like becoming superstars, I assume.
Here's how it works out. So
yeah.
There's like a record producer, and his daughter's like graduating to be a record producer too. And he's just showing her the ropes. And they were going to sign the band that ended up dying. And they're like, do you know how to play instruments? And they're like, I don't know. Let's just play what like comes to mind. And coming from a different world, their music sounds unlike any other, and everyone's horrified. And that creates metal music.
Oh, okay, so the invention of metal is from these demons from hell.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, we sound in sync. They're like, oh no, I just had this toothpaste commercial stuck in my head. We're like, you too?
That's really funny.
And she goes backstage. She's like, I want something different because like she doesn't like all the bands that are being signed. She wants like an individual like band that has individuality. So she sees them and she's like, you know what? This will be my first band. And she runs into them and overhears that they're demons and they get caught.
Okay.
And they're like, hey, I won't tell anyone about you guys unless you sign your souls to me, and you have to do as I say. So you have to be a band in my label.
That's very funny. So instead of like worse than the devil, you're selling your soul to the music industry.
Yeah.
That's you know what? That's a good punchline. I
Yeah.
love that tag to the. Would you consider this being a show
As
as your dream project?
I would love for it to be a show, but like I'm attached to the characters. I don't know if I would pitch it.
Got you.
But I do have an idea I do want to pitch. Because like I'm not as attached to it, and I feel like it could sell.
Got you.
I pitched this in my first year of SVA. It's about this human doctor named Dr. Deals who works at a monster hospital.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah. Okay.
I could see this being on like Nickelodeon stuff.
I remember I did like we were talking about it at some point like a while back with Dr. Deals. Yeah.
I feel like that could be like a show I could pitch.
Yeah, I can definitely see something like that. Trying to figure out like, do you have like anybody in mind for doing character designs for it?
I could do it.
Okay. But I mean, like, you know, in terms of like production, like later on, if you're gonna make this into a show, if there's
me, I would hire anyone I went to school with.
Okay.
Like all my friends.
Cool.
Like that, I feel like I could do it. I would definitely hire John. I would hire Mike for the monster designs.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see Mike doing like phenomenal monster designs.
I would have Adam like write.
Yeah. Adam would be very good at writing.
Because I'm not a good writer, honestly.
Fair enough. It's a skill, like anything else that people can like, you know, develop and practice, and sometimes you don't have like the time to practice everything.
True.
But, yeah.
But I would definitely do that. And industry professionals, if they fit the vibe of the show, I would be happy to work with anybody.
Right.
If I was a showrunner. And luckily, I have experience running productions.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and I know like working what it's like building a show from the ground up. So I've seen people do that. So I feel like I'd be confident as a showrunner.
Yeah, no, that's fun. I mean, when you work in a bunch of different productions, you learn how to manage and do things.
Mm-hmm.
I remember being a director for that NDA project that I just talked to you about it like before.
Yeah, and I knew how. I remember animating on that project.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about it like years later. Like, I love the character designs of it. I knew how to do like the poses just right.
Yeah, to get that particular vibe for the show. Yeah.
What did you think? Did you think I did good on that?
Oh yeah, no, you saved my ass, honestly. Just like because I had 11 minutes that I was doing for that thing, and I needed like that 2-minute sequence properly animated because I was working with other people too to animate everything, and everyone was like, this is the thing that I don't like about managing, because like I was not just a director, I was like also acting as producer essentially, trying to organize everybody. And
yeah, I'd done that too,
and that was a lot of work. And that was a month of complete stress on my end because I was just, how do you finish 11 minutes in a month, right? And there were so many things I had to readjust for like a bunch of different people's scenes, and I was working in multiple different programs, which was funny because you were using Toon Boom. There was another person that I hired that was in TV Paint, and I had to figure out a way how to clean everything up and put everything together and composite everything. And whew, boy, man, I wish they hired more people instead of just me to manage everything.
You know what? I knew like the animation was limited, but honestly, like I'm actually proud of it because like I felt the animation fit the vibe very well.
Yeah, no, you did a very good job, and I feel like I mean, there's still, I can loosely discuss it. They're still trying to pitch it around and develop it more, and I'm hoping something can go off of that, because they said they do really want me to work on that as like more of a directorial role for like a final like show thing, and that would be a very good thing to have under my belt.
Because I do see it like being a series.
Yeah.
Because like it seems something someone would pick up.
Yeah.
I can definitely see Augenblick like animating it though.
Yeah, that's what I've been like. You know, I told them like, hey, check out this studio over here, and like pitch to them. But they're very dead set on bigger networks. They really want it on Comedy Central, and I'm like, no, dudes, because Comedy Central was the one that asked them for the pitch initially. Like they were like, hey, we'll give you this budget and like you develop like this like, you know, small little thing and pitch it to us. And that's how I worked. Again, I'm being very loose. I cannot discuss exactly what I worked on, just in case, because again, I don't own the stuff, but like I can speak in loose terms. And the guys that are working on it, they're very dead set on a studio that's like, you know, spinning their wheels.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, man, I wish you guys can just pitch to like this place that I recommended you guys to pitch to. And I told them like, go to Augenblick. But you know, it's very tough to like convince non-artists, right?
Yeah.
To do something that would benefit them.
Because I'm thinking about like just subtle character actings like that I did, and they're not as impressive. Like but like honestly, like for the limited animation, I'm actually really proud of what I did.
Oh yeah, no,
because like it does feel like in an actual like production animation, and I was like, I'm proud of this.
Yeah, no, and did I send you the final look of your scene?
No, you haven't. Can you please send it to me?
Okay, I will. The way how I composited everything, I think it's I think you would really enjoy it. Because the way how because you only saw your lines for that, because you only did the line work, right?
Yeah, I did line work and cleanup.
Yeah, and
I did like the rough animation and cleanup.
Yeah, it's funny. Oh man, I already mentioned the name of the studio, so I cannot be talking bad about it. Okay, I'll discuss it later. But yeah, I'll send you the final thing.
Please. I remember all the hand-drawn animation. I knew how to like also do it where like it was limited, but like it still felt lively. And also I would do stuff with like the faces too.
Yeah.
That was on model.
It was very nice. I did like very minor like adjustments all throughout the thing.
Oh no, like that's totally fine.
Yeah, because just to match the style with everything. But
can I be honest? When I see the final thing, I actually kind of want to put a couple things on my reel.
Yes, please do. I think you will really enjoy it. Yeah, I'm gonna send you the final thing like right now tonight. Actually, I'm doing that like at the moment.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I'm gonna send you the final composite version. Do you want that? Because...
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I'm sorry for everybody listening. We're just talking shop with each other at this point, but again, this has been Anthony CONA at Random Hiri on Newgrounds, Twitter, Instagram. Give him a follow everywhere. If you're on YouTube right now, the information is on the screen where you can follow. And thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for giving your insight in the industry.
This was a really fun one, and I'm really excited for just animation in general. Just makes me happy. Just as long as like I'm doing animation, I don't care what production I work on. Just as long as I keep doing it, that's like my goal.
Yeah, and I'm very glad that you're still in animation. I'm very glad that you're still working, and I'm very glad that you're having fun. And I'm glad that you're not stressing out as much nowadays.
Thank you. I'm happy. Like all forms of animation, like any form of animation excites me, and just getting to be in that world, and I managed to like people recognize me for individual stuff I've done. Like I can never be more proud.
Yeah, and again, if there's anything you want to end the show on, anything you want to tell the audience or anybody that like you feel passionate about, now's your chance.
No matter what, like
Yep.
believe in like what like drives you, whatever like makes you happy. Like whatever like makes you happy, you're not working like a day in your life. I know that's like a very cliche and old saying, but like it really is true. Like I could animate all day and like I don't feel like I'm working, and I'm just proud I get to like do it every day.
Yeah.
I'm working on projects I love. I'm working on projects that like are making an impact, which I'm glad like I got to like help out, because like I've always been interested in like parts of animation that revolutionize stuff.
Yeah.
Like
Again,
when Ren and Stimpy started, like that revolutionized how the industry is right now.
Yeah.
And both like Hell of a Boss and Lackadaisy are like improving like stuff on the industry. Like it's revolutionizing how animation is being seen and how like the industry is taking notes on things.
Good. Yeah.
And I'm so glad I got to be a part of that.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you're a part of that too. And that's all the time we have for tonight, folks. Thank you again, Anthony, for coming on board. It was a pleasure.
Thank you
to have
so much. This was so much fun.
Yeah, if you ever want to come in the future, just let me know, and I will have everything ready for you.
Of course.
But yeah, thank you, everybody. This has been Radio Graffiti. Adios, amigos.
See ya. Uses.